everyone, J-Rod Place here. Just wanted to make a quick video for you guys about the two new encounters in the Altar of Summons this week. You get a preview of them whenever you do the mission, when you're doing the weekly story, but when you actually go into the Altar of Summons, there is a slight difference in the two witches, the Zevu's Talons encounter, that you want to be ready for. And the other encounter, the Solar Hoarders, I only did it on the tier 2, so I'm sure that there's probably a boss at the end of it if you're doing a powerful, or something that spawns in the middle, similar to how we had to deal with some surprise in the Zevu Talons encounter. And so for the Solar Hoarders encounter, it's very similar to how it was in the actual mission. You're going to have a bunch of Scorn popping up. They're going to try to stop you from killing this one specific Scorn that's marked. It's going to be a yellow bar. When you kill the yellow bar, it's going to unlock the ability to pick up a solar crystal. You have to dunk those solar crystals into these little bowls that are in the middle of the encounter. And then once you fill up all the bowls, from there the encounter will be over. I'm pretty sure though, like I said earlier, that if you were doing this on tier 3, at some point there's going to be a boss that pops up to try to prevent you from finishing during the time limit. These crystal hoarders also too are no joke. They do a good amount of damage even in tier 2, and they have a ton of health, so they're kind of tanky. So if you're playing with somebody who you're on comms with, try to focus on which one you're trying to kill. If you're running with LFGs, then luck be with you. But in this case, it wasn't too bad on the tier 2. Probably could have handled it on tier 3. Again, I've yet to see what the actual boss that spawns in on tier 3 would be. But it's probably a big Scorn, kind of like the Scorn that we have in the Tithe with Haste this week. I was able to see a new Tithe with Haste where a Scorn boss spawns in. And I'm going to go ahead and play this for you now so you can kind of see what that was like. So the other main encounter that we have is going to be Zevu's Talons. Now Zevu's Talons is going to be the fight with the two witches, and in the fight with the two witches, they're going to split off like normal, back and forth. It's really not super highlighted which one is going to be ready or not, especially if you're doing a bunch of damage to one or the other. Like sometimes you'll be in the middle of doing like a super to one, it'll go immune, and you're like, okay, I gotta fight the other one, and then vice versa. So it's not really good at telegraphing who's the active witch at the moment. Every now and then you do get a mark over their head, and you'll see that. They're just like they are like in any other encounter, whether we fought them in the aerial zone in the EDZ, or whether you fought them in the Broodhold. The dark one will still do the spikes on the ground. They actually do quite a bit of damage when you're on the tier 3. The other one with the fire really won't kill you outright with her fire if you get hit with it, although I didn't get hit with it directly without actually having some kind of a rift down or some kind of ability to heal myself, like my Void Soul was out there getting me energy or something like that at the time. So really the main thing to look out for, and to me the whole boss of this encounter, is going to be the Blistered Ogre that spawns in, and he's going to spawn in like when they're around half health or so. Once you see that Ogre come in, you're going to immediately want to run and take cover, pop your supers, burn your heavy. That thing is beefy, and that ogre will run you down. And so for our team, you'll see that he was not only able to run us down, but he stomps and leaves a pool of fire at his feet, and he'll actually spawn camp you. So he's going to walk over, and you'll see him doing this to my team right now, and spawn camp us. And even worse, the witches are spawn camping you at the same time too. So here I'm spawning, trying to get away. I get hit by the spikes. I get hit by the ogre. I get hit by the fire. Like there's just no way to get away from him. So what I decided doing was trying to maybe hopefully my teammates saw my strat of not respawning right away and waiting for everybody's timer to kind of line up with each other, and finally they figured out what I was doing, and we all spawned at the same time and just kind of ran in different directions so that we can get some space and get the ogre killed. Once the ogre was killed, the encounter was easy from there. It's not a big deal. It's just a bunch of thrall and knights running at you, and with these new builds that we have, if you're running like Titan Banner of War, I was running the Warlock build, the Briarbinds Warlock build, and that was a lot of fun with the Void Souls out there. And as long as you're running something that has some survivability or some way for you to get over shields, this fight is not too bad. It's just that damn ogre. But other than that, that's pretty much everything this week had. Like I said, it's just the solar hoarders, the new tithe with haste bosses. If there's any other more that you've seen, just throw them in the comments. That way I can kind of maybe take a look at them, see if I can find footage. But one cool new thing too to look out for this week is we now have the ability to re-roll cards. So if you draw a card at the beginning of the encounter and you don't like it, just go back there and you can re-roll it, which is pretty cool. Unfortunately, you have the ability still to get the same card twice, so that's kind of annoying because it just like wastes your re-roll. But it is what it is, and pretty good week overall. Though I like the lore, I like the setup. I've got a guide out for the week 3, so you can see that you've done pretty much everything. Make sure that you've found all the Arcana that was available, so that way you can be good, knowing that there's nothing that you're missing out on. Because it seems like every week some of the stuff changes, and like things that were here this week may not be here next week, and it's kind of all leading up to a point with Savathun's spire. You can kind of see the spire changing over the weeks and kind of concentrating their energy at the top of the spire, so I'm interested to see what that encounter is going to be like once everything is fully built. But again, thanks very much for watching the end. Thank you to all my new subscribers. I've seen a couple of you guys kind of show up in the last few days, and thanks for everybody that leaves me a comment, leave me feedback in the comments, ask questions. I'm happy to answer questions if I have the ability to do so, and I'll see you guys in the next guide.
I shall hone your tides for fine edge, and bleed Sivuarath dry. By the sky in my sister's affection. But here, our love is stronger than ever. Strong enough to conscript warriors of the light. Strong enough to betray her worm. Strong enough to birth a new sibling in my honor. Hail, beloved Savathun! Ayat!